is Top Shelf, the KIJHL podcast. I'm Mark Berry.
And I'm Emmanuel Sequeira.
This week on Top Shelf,
our INE Plus Nutrition Player Spotlight is with Owen Ivanov of the Kelowna Chiefs.
Our Alumni Clip is with former Spokane Brave Dawson Tritt, who is in his fourth season of NCAA Div 1 hockey.
And in our Bench Boss segment, Terry Jones of the Beaver Valley Nitehawks talks about his playing days.
Heading into Week 20, the top teams over the last 10 games, the Kimberley Dynamiters, Grand Forks Border Bruins, Princeton Posse, Revelstoke Grizzlies, and Columbia Valley Rockies, all playing 800 or better hockey.
Week 20 began on Tuesday, and the Border Bruins took over first place overall with their 5-2 win over Castlegar.
On Wednesday night, a crazy finish in the desert with just over a minute and a half to go in regulation. The Coyotes went up 3-2 on a Kyle Sear goal. With less than a minute left, Maxim Radmanovich tied it back up. Seconds later,
it's dialed into the corner. 26 seconds to go. Puck's in behind. They score! Merritt from right out in front. Foster scored. What a wild finish we have had, folks.
Stephen Foster won it for the Centennials, 4-3, the final.
Your division leaders heading into the weekend, Kimberley in the Eddie Mountain, Princeton and Revelstoke tied at top of the Bill Olhausen. In the Doug Burks, it's the 100 Mile House Wranglers, and in the Neil Murdoch, Grand Forks is on top.
The top five scorers remains Levi Astle, Tyler Burke, Matthew Langdon, Taylor Haggerty, and Ethan Davey.
The longest active point streak belongs to Owen Miller from the Kelowna Chiefs at 10 games.
Amongst goaltenders playing 720 or more minutes, Cale Svensson from Sicamous is still on top with a .936 save percentage.
You know, over in the PJHL there was a goaltender who put up 7 points in just 20 games. So I thought, let's check out the points leaders amongst goalies in the KI. Devin Degenstein leads all goaltenders with 3 points. 6 others have 2. Every Wednesday on the KIJHL.ca website, Emmanuel puts together an article on KIJHL alum.
This week is Dawson Tritt of the NCAA Lake Superior State Lakers. He's played 128 games at the top level of U.S. university hockey. The former Spokane Brave talked about his time in the KIJHL.
You know, I had a good role with the Braves as well, so I was able to develop my game that way as far as scoring goals and providing assists and all that. I was kind of given a good opportunity just to develop my game as a whole, put in all situations. So I think that helped me ultimately make my jump to the BCHL the next year. So,
because what did you enjoy about playing that season in the KIJHL with the hometown Braves?
Oh, yeah, I think that was the biggest thing, was just being back home. I left home when I was 14, not too far, but I played in Seattle. Minor hockey for 3 years, so coming back to Spokane was huge. Playing with a lot of my buddies, it's probably one of my favorite years I've had playing hockey. Just being back home, playing with all my buddies, and going to school back home as well. So that was pretty cool.
Was there any sort of single thing or a couple of things development wise that you really took big steps that helped you?
I'd say, yeah, the biggest thing was probably confidence. Like I said, they kind of put me out there in all situations, so I was able to develop my game that way, as I mentioned, and just, be more confident with the puck on my stick. So I'd say that was the biggest one, and then, like I already mentioned, just the physicality aspect of the game. Especially, we were the only American team, so that might have added to it a little bit, playing against those Canadian guys. So, I think those two things were the biggest, probably.
Emmanuel talking with KIJHL alum Dawson Tritt.
Owen Ivanov of the Kelowna Chiefs is this week's Young Guns. He's also our INE Plus Nutrition Player Spotlight. After 2 big wins last week, I asked him for his impressions.
We played a really strong game in front of a pretty solid crowd on Friday against Princeton. We played a pretty solid game. We knew that we had pretty much nothing to lose, top team in the league, and we just did the things right. We battled hard. Every line was going. We capitalized on their penalties, so our power play was clicking there that game too. Felt pretty good to get to get the win against them at home in front of that big crowd for the RSS night. And then Creston started off a little slow, but then we kept it up to the second and third and scored that late tying goal, which boosted our confidence pretty good, and then finally got it done with Dawson at the end with that nice backhand short side. So pretty proud of the boys. We kept it together. There's always ups and downs in a game, but mentality is strong throughout the whole game. So pretty positive things throughout the weekend.
And then you had a goal and 4 points against Princeton. What did you do well to produce?
I just been doing my same thing. Nothing has changed. I think after the winter break, I've been in a little bit of a slump. But me not changing a thing and, keeping my routine the same and focusing extra on the little things made me, it came, right? And I was just in the right spot at the right times for those goals. And, you could throw a little bit of skill in there for that Creston game goal, but other than that, it's just doing the right things and trusting your teammates and getting the puck in the net.
Thundercats win the face-off, shot off a body and wide. Aiden Morcom lifts that puck to center. It's onto the stick of Owen Ivanov. Ivanov scores! Owen Ivanov had some trouble with that puck, kicked it up to his stick, tucks one under the crossbar. Chiefs ahead 2-1. Owen Ivanov with 4 points last night. He's got another one this evening.
Owen, what has the season been like for you?
It's been pretty well. I think as a rookie, there's a lot of eyes on me, especially the coaches and everyone looking at who's this young kid. But I think I've dealt with it pretty well. Always having the positive mentality going into games and putting in extra work outside the arena, giving myself a good reputation by showing up to all the meetings and practices and working, giving my best effort. And yeah, I think it's shown and it's been working. So as a rookie and the youngest on the team, it's also been pretty difficult. You're the youngest. No one's really gonna look at you as someone very special, but you have to have that mentality that anyone can do anything. So I think I've brought quite a bit to the team so far this season, and I'm looking to do more.
How did playing for Omaha Central Zone team last season prepare you to make the jump to junior hockey?
I didn't really make the decision to play junior probably until the summer after that championship season. But it's definitely a very different level of hockey from that AA jump to junior. But being one of the top kids on that team last year, just doing what I do best and, giving good assists and putting the puck in the back of the net. I think it showed some teams that what I can do. And, I just tried to carry that into the KI as much as possible and obviously giving in that extra effort.
Yeah, I was looking at your stats. I mean, you produced in minor hockey and you've continued to do it in the KIJHL. Is it a confidence thing, or what's giving you the ability to believe in yourself that you can produce in this league?
I believe throughout the years, everyone looks at me as a pretty small kid, and I always want to prove myself. So I think that's a big thing when it comes to my game. But also, I don't think much to it. I don't get too high. I don't get too low. When I'm on a streak, I know I'm on a streak, and I keep doing the same things I've always been doing, and just keep getting it done, not changing a thing. Trusting myself and my own ability to bring something to the table for that game, and I think it's been shown and been working.
Yeah, you're from Kelowna. What were the factors that led you to choose to play for the Chiefs in the KIJHL?
Biggest factor was schooling. So I've been taking school pretty seriously, and I wanted to jump the level into playing junior at a young age. I think it has changed me as a player in a positive way, rather than going back to the CZR team. But yeah, this schooling was the main reason why I wanted to stay in Kelowna and play for the Chiefs. Obviously, I've been to school here all my life, and I wanted to continue at the same school that I am now.
Since the start of the season, what skills would you say you've improved on the most?
I think it's just the scoring in general, probably the shooting aspect. I'm a small guy, so I need to do a little extra to get the puck back in the net. So I've been working on it. Things click sometimes, and I think my shooting and even my skating, I think of with the gym and training and on the ice has affected me in a pretty positive way for my speed and agility.
That's Owen Ivanov of the Kelowna Chiefs. Owen, thanks for joining us on Top Shelf, the KIJHL podcast.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
During that interview, Emmanuel mentioned Omaha. For those of you not familiar with BC hockey, that's the Okanagan Mainline Amateur Hockey Association. The Player Spotlight is a presentation of INE Plus Nutrition. Boost your energy naturally with Canada's best-tasting super greens by INE Plus Nutrition. Abundant in over 50 antioxidants, vitamins, and minerals, INE Plus Super Greens will improve your immune and digestive systems, increase your energy, and enhance your mental clarity. You'll feel better overall, almost like you could tackle any challenge. Shop now at www.inenutrition.com and use the code KIJHL10 to get 10% off your order.
This is Top Shelf, the KIJHL podcast, now available on YouTube.
On our Bench Boss segment, Emmanuel had a lengthy conversation with Nitehawks head coach Terry Jones. Here's part 2 of that interview. You know, when we generally think of Terry Jones, we think of his decades as a coach and his impressive record. But he was a very good player in the WHL at the University of Calgary and in Europe. He's won a Memorial Cup and 2 Spengler Cups wearing the Maple Leaf.
You played in the Western Hockey League and won a Memorial Cup with Portland in 1983. Yeah. I mean, talk about what that experience was like. I mean, a couple of some notable names of guys that you played with. I mean, the first one that struck me was Cam Neely, then also Ray Ferraro, a KIJHL alum.
It's funny, we had a 40-year anniversary last year, 2 years ago. The first time I'd seen Cam in like 35 years. But we had a group of characters that were amazing hockey players, and a lot of them ended up with quite substantial NHL careers. Cam being one, Ray. I mean, Ray and I grew up together. I mean, we played baseball together, won a provincial championship in baseball together. So I'd always known Ray and hung out with Ray in the summers. But that year in Portland was the first year we'd actually played hockey together, even though we knew each other. I mean, he was just an unbelievable goal scorer. There was other players in that team though that were incredible. Like, you know, Ken Yaremchuk was just unbelievable. Like, he was a first round draft pick, NHLer with Chicago. And, you know, we were tough too. Man, our team was like Brian Curran and John Kordick and, Jimmy Playfair. I mean, we were tough. We were very, very tough. Great group of guys, and it was really great to see them. And the funniest thing, the best player on that team was a guy named Randy Heath, who had 82 goals that year, who lives in North Vancouver. He was a fireman and just an incredible hockey player, and had a cup of coffee with the Rangers, but a great career as a firefighter and a leader in the Vancouver Fire Department. And if you ask about Heater, they'll all say that about him. He was just an incredible captain of the fire department. So just, that's hockey, right? You meet all these people, and it was as a 16-year-old player, it was a great team to be a part of, and made a lot of great friendships. And, you know, the one guy that, I've kind of maintained contact with, but it just shows how hockey is a small world. But we had a whole bunch of Kootenay guys on that team, and Bruno Campesi being one of them from Nelson, Gordy Walker from Castlegar, Ray, and Richie Crum. Richie Crum had also had trail roots, and so, you know, Crummer's son now, is a coach with the Smoke Eaters, and so it's just, it just goes to show that connection that hockey brings, and, how you know, something that happened 40 something years ago now, you still have connection to, you know, around the world, really.
It must have been an incredible feeling to win a Memorial Cup.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I got to say that, you know, my role in the team was, you know, I was a fourth liner, I was a penalty killer, and I, you know, I really took that role seriously and a lot of pride in it. But anytime you win something, you know, it's a national level, it's really something. And, so to be a part of that was great. And, you know, when I went to university, I was a part of some teams that won, you know, the Canada West, in Calgary, and I got a chance to play for some Spengler Cups and win some gold medals with the Spenglers. And, you know, so those things were really important. And I always felt like I enjoyed being a part of a winning team, a championship team. And I think that's part of what drives you, the feeling as a coach now. It drives you to want to be successful. And more importantly, you want to see kids put the effort in and then have them have that chance to be successful.
What was it like to represent your country in the Spangler Cup? That must have been incredible.
It was unbelievable. Like back in the day when they ran those teams, they had about half of the guys were from Canada, university players in Canada, and half the guys were European pros. And so they would bring us together, for like 4 days ahead of the tournament in Switzerland. And we traveled around Italy and Germany and Switzerland, before getting to Davos. You think about it, you're playing every day and you're playing in this packed stadium where people are singing and going crazy. And the thing that stands out to me was, that pride of wearing the Canadian flag, like to wear your country's uniform was incredible. Like it was just like, man, this is pretty darn cool. And then to win it twice was even cooler. Like that was it was neat. It's neat to see a group of guys come together, 4 days before a tournament and learn each other's names and then sell out for each other and for the country. It was really cool. Long time ago now. I mean, something that I remember wholeheartedly. Yeah, it's just funny because, my kids played in Switzerland and they played with a guy from Sweden. What was interesting was that this guy's dad had played in the same Spangler Cup that I had played in. And so we look at the team pictures, in the Spangler Cup, and his dad's in one picture and I'm in a picture, and our kids are playing together with Switzerland. So it was just kind of that's the really unique connection to hockey.
That's Emmanuel talking with Beaver Valley head coach Terry Jones. This is Top Shelf, the KIJHL podcast, available on Spotify, iHeart, Apple Podcast, YouTube, and on the KIJHL.ca website. Our thanks this week to broadcasters Tom Shields and Justin McCartney.
Nitehawks head coach Terry Jones, Kelowna Chiefs forward Owen Ivanov, and Spokane Braves alum Dawson Tritt.
A big thank you to the good folks at INE Plus Nutrition. Don't forget to use the code KIJHL10 to get your discount.
Finally, a stick tap to Flow Hockey, which brings our players closer to their families and friends back home.
I'm Mark Berry.
I'm Emmanuel Sequeira.
This is Top Shelf, the KIJHL podcast. We're back in 7 days.